The next speaker, can I have Dr. Dung Tran, the impact of organizational and contextual factor on supply chain collaboration and competitive advantage in the garment industry, a conceptual framework. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Are you ready?
Okay.
Go ahead. The floor is yours, or the video is yours.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait. Let me check if the screen share. And do you see my screen now?
No,
shares
not yet.
No,
not yet.
Not yet.
Wow. It changed.
Can Miss Putu help her out?
Not yet. Dr. Tran, have you shared screen in your Zoom login?
Wait.
The green button. The green button in the.
Yes, I said green. Does it not work? Wait.
Yeah, it started now.
So do you see my first slide?
Yes.
Yes.
You can see that now.
Can I check its move?
Yes. Move.
Okay.
Good
Can
luck.
I start now?
Yes.
Hey, hi everyone. Thank you for your coming today. I'd like to welcome all of you to my presentation. My name is Dung Tran, and it's my pleasure to be here today to present my paper entitled The Impacts of the Organizational and Contextual Factors on Supply Chain Collaboration and Competitive Advantage in the Garment Industry's Conceptual Framework. This presentation will briefly cover 4 sessions. During the past decades, collaboration has become one of the most attractive topics in supply chain management research. Many studies in the literature have focused on the performance implication of supply chain collaboration. And it's well known that collaboration can facilitate faster new product development, better quality, reduce products and supply chain costs, and improve customer service. Unfortunately, relatively few companies have achieved genuine collaboration with their business partner to obtain the expected performance because this practice is influenced by many factors. Besides, it was revealed in an international study employing data from New Zealand, Thailand, and the UK that the majority of the organization studies are struggling to turn the supply chain integration concept, which encompasses the supply chain collaboration, into reality, and that supply chain on average are poorly integrated. Recognizing the vital role of the antecedent of supply chain collaboration, an increasing number of studies have been focused on this topic. From the literature review, there are 4 primary groups of antecedents of supply chain collaboration: technical, relational, organizational, and contextual characteristics. Research to explore new antecedents has been conducted in recent years and is still not yet mature. In researching of these antecedents, previous studies emphasized the role of technical and relational factors, but simplify or ignore the effect of organizational and contextual antecedents. In addition, the organizational and contextual group of antecedents vary depend on specific context, regional culture, and industrial sectors. In this connection, it has been widely acknowledged that the garment industry possesses one of the longest, most fragmented supply chain in the world, since many intermediaries exist between fiber producer and consumer. It is characterized by the short product life cycle, high demand uncertainty, and high level of inventory. Therefore, the supply chain collaboration amongst these players is deemed to play a crucial role in the success of this industry. Nevertheless, there have been so far only 3 study that investigate the issue of supply chain collaboration in the garment and textile industry. And as such, the research of organizational and contextual factors affecting supply chain collaboration and its outcome for the garment industries with empirical validation is still in need. According to the World Trade Organization, 4 out of 5 leading clothing exporters in the world were from the Asia Pacific region, in which Vietnam is ranking number 4 of the world. In this respect, the garment industries play a crucial role in developing the wealth of Vietnam. With the annual growth rate about 17%, this sector contributes about 15% to the national GDP. The textile and garment companies in Vietnam employs more than 2.5 million people, accounting for 25% of labor in the manufacturing sector. However, the most Vietnamese companies are only participating in the production stage, which is the lowest value-added process in the apparel community chain with a high unit cost. Meanwhile, the import material for Vietnam garment industries relies densely on imports, mainly from China, Taiwan, and Korea. Besides, the main market for Vietnam garment companies are the USA, the European Union, and Japan. Besides, the issue of lack of weakling among the supply chain partners in agriculture, aquaculture, especially in the garment industries, are commonly mentioned in public media. Therefore, a close collaboration with suppliers and customers is proposed as a solution to the success of the garment industries in Vietnam. Given the aforesaid background, this research aims to explore and explain the relationship between the organizational and contextual factors and supply chain collaboration, and how that in turn affect the firm competitive advantage in the garment industries in developing countries. We come up with 2 research questions. The first one is, how do the organizational and contextual factors affect the supply chain collaboration in the garment industries in developing countries? And the second research question is, how does supply chain collaboration affect the firm competitive advantage in the garment industries in developing countries? And the reviews of previous literature on supply chain collaboration, its antecedent, and the firm competitive advantage is presented. The literature review provides a theoretical foundation for this investigation. The first term is supply chain collaboration. It's referred to the joint action taken by multiple firms in order to gain a competitive edge in the market and achieve the greater benefit that they cannot achieve by their individual effort. Based on activity involved in the relationship, there are 4 main mechanisms for collaboration commonly considered in various studies: the information sharing, goal congruence, decision synchronization, and incentive alignment. Besides, supply chain collaboration practices can be categorized based on the dimensional aspect, which consists of internal and external collaboration. From the literature review, it is evident that the many studies have been conducted on this topic, exploring the collaboration activity among participants, whilst the internal collaboration is less concerned. Considering that the internal relationship between functional departments within the company is significantly important and might have effect on the collaboration with external supply chain partners. This research will explore the supply chain collaboration in the view of internal and external collaboration. The second part of literature reviews is the antecedent of supply chain collaboration. The antecedents are the factors that facilitate or impede the implementation of supply chain activity. There are a large number of factors affecting supply chain collaboration. In the current research, antecedents of supply chain collaboration are categorized into technical, relational, contextual, and organizational factors. Technical factors refer to the entity that can be measured, and the term relational factor refers to the mutual understanding and dependence between business partners. Just commitment, interdependence are included in this group. In our research, the contextual factor refer to the various aspects of business situation or environment. And the term organizational factors indicate the characteristics of a firm. Our findings reveal that many investigations have been conducted on technical and relational factors, while the contextual and organizational issues are less mentioned. From the literature review, we can see that the antecedents of supply chain collaboration are examined in manufacturing and service firms in general, and there are limited studies paying attention to specific industry. The final terms of the literature reviews is competitive advantage of the firm, and it is the extent to which the organization can be able to create a defensible position over its competitor. And the competitive advantage includes 6 dimensions. The relationship between supply chain collaboration and the firm competitive advantage has been studied quite intensely in the literature. And there's a positive relationship between supply chain collaboration and competitive advantage. And the context of the textile and garment industry is still not fully researched, especially in developing countries. And in the internal collaboration among functional departments was not discussed. Based on the literature review, the conceptual framework and hypothesis development for investigating the impacts of organizational and contextual factors on supply chain collaboration and competitive advantage are described in the next session. This research is anchored on 3 strategic management theory. The institutional theories possess that the firm business decisions are affected by the economic, social, political forces exerted by relevant institutes such as the state and local government or powerful organization. It is explained that the organization operates in a social system whereby the organizational practices are influenced through the social rule. This theory has been used to explain various the type of external factors that force organizations to implement a new practices, policy, and procedure. Meanwhile, the resource-based view of an organization supports the strategic involvement of various working groups using different organizational level competency to improve performance in order to attain the competitive position in the industry. The resource-based view encourages organizations to make use of tangible and intangible resources to have valuable, rare, and imperfectly imitable products or services and achieve competitive advantage in the market. Another theory will concern how firms utilize their resources in the relational view. It provides theoretical support for the role of the network of relationship between companies to achieve the competitive advantage. And underpinned by the aforesaid theory and described from the literature review, a conceptual framework for evaluating the role of organizational and contextual factors in supply chain collaboration and competitive advantage is proposed. In this research, the organizational factors are analyzed based on 3 aspects: willingness to innovate and change, top management support, and organizational culture. Resistance to change might come from the perceived difficulty involving supply chain collaboration, the fear of failure or requirement of a large amount of initial financial investment, which barrier the collaboration implementation. In order to gain successful collaboration, top managers must understand and facilitate in establishing and maintaining the relationship. Meanwhile, the organizational culture refers to the shared value and belief of a company. Based on this definition, organizational culture plays a vital role in guiding the member behavior, which further affects the supply chain collaboration. For example, it is confirmed that the group cultures were positively related to both internal and external integration. Thus, we propose the organizational factor have positive effect on internal and external collaboration. The contextual factors can be considered in 14: the technical uncertainty, demand uncertainty, supply uncertainty, and government support. Firstly, the technological uncertainty indicates that the the changes in products and process technology. When products innovation among supply chain partners changes rapidly, the firm needs to involve more in information and resource sharing and joint knowledge creation. Secondly, demand uncertainty means the extent of change of customer needs and demand. And it argues that to respond to the unpredictable customer order, the business partner should exchange resources and information. Thirdly, the supplier uncertainty means the extent of changes and unpredictability of supplier products capability or delivery practice. And if the level of supplier uncertainty get higher, information will need to be more intensely processed. It will confirm that the firm attempt to achieve a higher level of supply chain integration when they face a high level of supplier uncertainty. Finally, government support refers to the intervention of the government in business activity. The local government can establish formal and informal policy related to economic activity. It's well found that the government support is positively related to information sharing and collaborative planning with their partner. The effect of the contextual factor on internal and external collaboration can be underpinned by the institutional theory. Thus, we propose the contextual factor have positively impact on internal and external collaboration. And the positive relationship between internal and external collaboration has been confirmed by the empirical study in the literature. Mm, So we can declare that the internal collaboration has a positive impact on external collaboration. And the relationship between supply chain collaboration and the firm competitive advantage has been studied quite intensely in the literature. For example, the Vanity examined the role of supply chain collaboration in a firm competitive advantage. Its research indicates the positive relationship between supply chain collaboration and competitive advantage. In this research, how the collaboration between functional teams within the organization is conducted can be seen as an intangible resource that can make or break the firm competitive advantage. The resource based views is used to explain this relationship, and the relational view provides theoretical support for the role of external collaboration as a way to exploit the complementary capability to achieve competitive advantage. Thus, we posit that the internal collaboration and external collaboration have positive impacts on competitive advantage. And this paper presents a conceptual framework outlining the role of organizational and contextual factors in enhancing competitive advantage through supply chain collaboration in the garment industries. The proposed conceptual frameworks, together with its empirical validation developed at the later stage, will contribute not only to theory building, but also management practices. From the academic perspective, this research will enhance the knowledge on organizational and contextual factors that influence supply chain collaboration in the context of garment industries, which has not been well studied in the previous literature, especially in developing countries like Vietnam. Also, the outcome of this research will enhance the application of the resource-based view, the relational view, and the institutional theory. From a practical point of view, this research will, after being empirically validated, provide the manager of garment companies with the insights into their current supply chain collaboration practices. Also, it will shed light on the organizational and contextual issue when implementing the supply chain collaboration to gain competitiveness and have manager with the knowledge on which issues to be focused on improvement. Moreover, the finding from the investigation in this research might also provide insight for those who want to establish or maintain a business relationship with Vietnamese garment company. And this study is in the state of reviewing the literature and develop a conceptual model. So the main limitation of these papers is lack of empirical validation, which can be conducted in the next stage. And under the research is developed in the case of the garment industries in Vietnam, the impact of organizational and contextual factors on supply chain collaboration in other industries or other countries are worthy to investigation in the future. And thank you very much for your attention. And I'm willing to answer any questions from you.
Thank you, Dr. Dung Tran. A very interesting presentation. I have a question from Dr. Umir Mukhtar. It was really informative presentation. Kindly explain any situation where supply chain uncertain situation can influence internal collaboration. You want me to repeat? Kindly explain any situation where supply chain uncertain situation can influence internal collaboration.
Yeah, we can see that when the supply chain uncertainty, and like in this model, we focus on the supplier uncertainty and customer uncertainty or technical uncertainty. And for example, if we get the uncertainty from the supplier, that means in the case we get the materials getting delivered late. So the internal department within the companies needs to share the information or collaborative sharing so that we can minimize the impact of the uncertainty from the supplier.
Okay. All right, Dr. Dung, very good feedback on that. I do have a question. Could you go to your framework? I just on top of my head, I just wondering why you just take a few factors compared to the rest of factors. Can you go for your framework, please?
And this one?
Your framework. This is your framework, and then go back to your, I think, underpinning framework, the collaborative one, not this one, before.
You mean the
Before.
theory?
Yeah. No. You said that this is the part of collaborative factor. You have relational factor. Go back. It's much more back before you go, because it's a conceptual. You are not. I already do the field work.
No.
Not yet. So that is good. You not yet do a framework. So I just want to ask. Go back more. I think 2 or 3 slides after the before this, because you are proposing the collaborative. Next, before, sorry, not next, before. Yeah, before this, you have like, yes. So you say you choose only contextual factor and organizational factor, right?
Yes.
But in your conceptual framework also talk about technical factor. Is it correct?
Yes, we just explore the technological uncertainty, and the other technical factors is like the use of information technologies in the other group.
Okay, because you know why? Because this is the interesting part here is called antecedent or supply chain collaboration. Yeah. For me, it's very you know what, for me, very cautiously, you want to omit these 2 factors, technical factor and relational factor. You have to be cautious, Dr. Dung, because technical and relational factor. I'm testing the relational factor on my study just now. I just focus on relational factor just now when I do supplier selection design. Can you see it? Because inside that relate to Guangxi. That's why I test Guangxi on my supplier selection decision. Yours is bigger, Dr. Dung. You are collaborative supply chain, very big. So when you say I only want to use contextual and organizational factor, I will be cautious. Why? Because technical factor also play significant role in SC collaboration. So you have to be cautious when you say, I just want to check this too, but you do talk about technological factor. You see what I mean? So when you test, when you do a questionnaire or your survey design, or you do PLS, very dangerous for me, because the point inside the contextual factor, you do put technology factor, which I found out it is technical factor, and it can be very significant for your case. Because that's why I want to talk about this to you, because you are doing conceptual paper. If you already do fieldwork, I cannot help you anymore. So when you do conceptual, you can, switch. So what I will do, this is my advice. Do a qualitative, meaning you do like a pilot. You test all these 4 factors: technical, relational, contextual factor, organizational factor. You see which one is the most relevant from that garment industry. Just use interview. Just ask them straight away. And then if it point to only these 2, you are safe. But if they say, no, relational for me is very important. No, technical factor is for me is very important. So you are in a deep problem. So for me, first phase, you check whether your government, your respondent from the government industry think technical, relational, contextual, organization factor, are they important to them? You can make a ranking, up to you. Then you can go back to your hypothesis, because you're doing hypothesis. So it's very dangerous when you say, I only take these 2. Because antecedent based on Metzer is already empirical. It's already been checked. It's already been checked. It's already been proven. This 4 is very important in collaboration. So if you ignore, you have to have a solid theory saying, or solid paper saying, technical and relational is not important. That is only my view. I'm cautious because I'm a bit afraid that these 2 do have an impact in government industry. Okay, Dr. Dung, I'm not being negative here. I'm very constructive to you, because you're doing a good. This is quite big, as I think Prof. Wong said. He also did fashion. He said it's very complex supply chain. That's why I said your contribution to the garment industry is very huge if you do it properly at the first time. So I think you have time to ask all your government operator, which just do ranking, it's fine. You just do ranking, which they think is more important. Then from there, you can make decision, whether you use your current framework or you add on more variable or more construct in your framework. That's it. Sorry, Dr. Dung, I'm not being negative. I'm helping you out here.
Okay, thank you very much.
No worries.
Your suggestions is so helpful, and I will consider about the factor later.
All right. Okay. Any other question? We have 10 minutes, right, Putu? We have 10 minutes. Any question from the floor? It can be for me or for Dr. Dung. No question. Oh, okay. Putu, are we going to close the session?
Yes, please. If there is no more question, you may close the session.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for having your time here. And for those of you, the participant, I hope you enjoy our session, even though just two of us, Dr. Dung and I, presenting in this session, but I do enjoy very much with the question given and the discussion. Dr. Dung, you may contact me if you have collaboration we can do in regards of comparative study between Vietnam and Malaysia. I'm be happy to oblige to help you out in regards to build up your model. With that, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum from Malaysia. Good evening. I already go. I'm now it's 6 o'clock in Malaysian time. For those of you who are morning, good morning, and have a good day ahead of you. Okay, bye bye.
Thank you, Dr. Ami. Thank you, Dr. Tran.